What is going on, everybody? How are you all doing this afternoon? It is time for the Just Gonna Say It podcast on the Dylan Talks Tone YouTube channel. Thanks for everybody who has come to hang out with us and chat and all of the various things that we're going to talk about today. We had a video come out yesterday that was pretty interesting as far as what would happen in the comments afterwards. So that's kind of what we talk about on these Tuesdays a little bit, as well as some other things that we will get into. So welcome to everybody. And I just want to say that if you are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button and the like button if you like guitar stuff, because that's what we do here. I will say that if you don't like reality, or you don't like realizing that real things are real or being told that things are real, you might not like this channel. But if you do like actual real life, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the like button. If you want to support the channel, you can go to patreon.com/DylanTalksTone. Everybody that is a Patreon member or a YouTube member with the little join button down there gets 10% off at DylanTalksTone.com, which can save you, it could save you, $35 on a loaded pick guard, or $25 or ish or so on a set of pickups. So, that sort of thing. And for those of you that are always getting in the comments and saying, where do I find your pickups? And I say, there's a link. Well, there is a link down there, but for those of you that have not seen that link, here it is right here, DylanTalksTone.com. So there you go. That is what we're doing today. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. If you have guitar questions or things you want to add to the conversation, you can obviously get over here into the chat. And if you use a super chat, I will drop what I'm doing and answer your question immediately. So yeah, it's like we've got a bunch of people hanging out here so far this afternoon. Very cool. Okay. So one of the things we're going to do, we just did this video here. This shot's bugging me. Let's give it a little more. There we go. That way we can really hang out and get close. Okay. So this video came out yesterday, and for the most part, we got thousands of views. Holy smokes. Way more views than I normally think on one of these kind of techie videos on a Monday. So let's see here. We got, let me see how many views this video has. It's pushing 10,000, I think. No, maybe it's somewhere around 8,000. So, which is a decent Monday for me. So thank you for everybody that watched it. One of the things that came up from it, though, is that there were a lot of people, when we're talking about pickup stuff, especially, it brings out the experts in the comments. And it got me thinking, we don't always address a lot of these comments that come up where people talk about what they know in the comments. And so we're going to go through some of these. Now, I'm not going to mention users. Oftentimes when I mention comments, and it's something that we're calling out because it's incorrect or etc., people will get on my case and be like, I can't believe you're calling these people out. Well, you know what? It's a comment on YouTube and it's in public. So the 7,800 people that watch this video and you could go to in the comments right now and see them. They're not in private. This is public on YouTube. If you do not want to be talked about, A, don't leave a stupid comment. B, hide your profile on YouTube. You can do that. There are privacy settings. So if you are in public, you call me out on stuff, I'm going to do the same thing. Now, of course, we're not being mean about this. It's just stuff that we want to chat about because we don't want to bring up further myths as we talk about pickup stuff. Of course, especially this is my area. You know what I mean? If I don't know about stuff, I'll just say, you know what, I don't know. And I'll just move on. But so let's chat about a few of these things. One of the biggest things that came up yesterday in that video, in the comments to that video, were a lot of people saying you are wrong because there are a lot of cheap pickups that are good. You are right. There are a lot of, not a lot, but there are some cheap pickups that are good. What does good mean? Good means that you like them. If you have a cheap pickup in a guitar, if you have an inexpensive guitar with inexpensive electronics and you like how it sounds, then it is good. There's no consumer reports that gives you however many dots and says, this toaster is better than this toaster. And then all the soccer moms buy that toaster or that vacuum cleaner or whatever, even though that's what it feels like in the guitar world. I don't care about anything as long as you like it. If you like it, it is good. So in that respect, there's a lot of people that like very inexpensive stuff. And think about how many guitar players and how many hit songs and how many really cool songs and artists have made huge hits on cheap instruments. I mean, there's so many. You could probably get in the comments right now and mention a bunch of people who have made legendary music that we sing and listen to on the radio to this day, classic rock and modern, that were played on sub $500 guitars. And I mean sub $500, not by when it was made, but I mean like by inflation. Like that guitar would be a cheap guitar now. All the silver tones and all the Japanese stuff and all the department store guitars that are super cool now, but they're crap guitars, really. So obviously this is a very relative thing to what you like. That was not the point of this video at all. As many people in the comments wanted to say that I was wrong, there was no right or wrong. The question was posed to me. What do you use to decide whether a pickup is good to you or not? What are you listening for? What characteristics of a pickup do you not like, or what do you like? And then carry that. And so that's a thing. So let's handle that first, separate from me owning a pickup company. Okay. So what do I like? What do you like? Get in the comments and let me know what you like. What are some characteristics? Do you agree with the ones that I spoke of in that video? Are there ones that I missed that you might like better? Do you like things that are completely opposite of me? No wrong answers whatsoever. But the things that I like are clarity. I like note definition between notes. I like the guitar to be very expressive with the volume knob and the tone knob, so that the guitar, because electrically, like the physics of it, cheaper guitars don't do the thing that they should do when you look at the circuit design. In an LC filter circuit with an inductor, the voltage drops and the resistance as it gets lower to 0, and the frequency response as it gets lower to 0, and blah, 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 getting all into the mathy, crazy brain side of it. Cheap pickups don't do it as well. Good pickups do it better. They are more accurate to the design, the intended design of the circuit. That is a technical fact. Okay. That is not an opinion, but that is, when the design is right, that circuit works correctly. When the design has had some shortcuts put into it via cheap materials, poor design, improper combination of components, this type of thing, improper quality, like low quality of components, like pots, for example, then it takes it further away from the optimum design and execution of a design of what that circuit should be. This is an electrical circuit. It has an inductor, it has a resistor, it has a voltage divider, it has a capacitor. And those things are a circuit. And so when they are designed to do a certain thing, and when you adjust the adjustable components, being the volume and the tone, the inductance and the voltage and the resistance and the capacitance of the capacitor all rise and fall, and everything is all interactive with one another. And that is a system that works together. And when the pickups suck, or the pots suck, or the capacitor is probably the least amount of all those things. When any of that stuff doesn't play nice with the other stuff, then it doesn't operate to its full potential of what that thing is designed for. That being said, the end result is still the end result. And if it is a sound that you like, or that you can make use of in your music, and you like it, then it's not bad. I just, as a designer of things, and of course, this is not even having to do with guitar stuff. This is my entire life. I look at everything like this: my bicycle, my car, my knives, my computer, my camera. If it is not designed to fit my needs and be to its ultimate potential, I look for something else. I am just that person. That's why I like to, and it's not a, people would say, well, you're a snob about stuff. Okay, well, maybe I am. Okay, I'll take that. Leslie says that. We joke about that all the time. But for me, it's understanding what the best can be, understanding full potential of whatever you're using. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're making coffee, whether you're ironing, whether you are cooking, whether you are cutting your vegetables. If you are trying to get the full potential out of whatever those items you are putting, and that system, you know, whether it's a cutting board and a knife, that is the system that you're using, or it is a pickup and capacitors, that is the system that you're using, the capacitors and the pots, the system that you're using. Those things need to work together properly. And when a component does not do the thing, I want to improve it. Again, though, going backwards, if you like it, you like it, and it's totally fine. Because there are cheap pickups that I like too. For example, all that old Sears Roebuck stuff, all that Silvertone stuff, all that stuff. Those guitars were not good, but they're cool. So it doesn't matter. Cool stuff doesn't matter. If you think it's cool, it doesn't matter, right? If you think it's cool, it doesn't matter. So if you think a $300 guitar with pickups that I don't like in it are cool, then you think it's cool. And here's what happens. Here's what happens a lot of times. And this can solve everything. The guitar industry has gotten into a spot where you go onto a Facebook group, you go into a forum or whatever, and someone else tells you what you think you should have. So you modify your guitar, you get a different guitar. It's not the newest, hottest. It's not, especially when you niche it down. So if like praise and worship people are terrible about this, like bass players, everybody says you have to have this particular thing. If you're a Les Paul guy, Strat guy, Telly guy, if you niche down, the community's even smaller, then all of a sudden it has to be this certain thing or it's not cool. The acoustic sonic guys all of a sudden are all using the same exact strings, and the acoustic sonic guys all have these bridge pins that they're using. Like everything gets niched down into these little things, and then you have to have this thing to make it good, which is dumb. Because now you just have the same thing as everybody else has. What I think is really cool is when you have the guitar that you have and you spend the time learning how to get the sound you want out of what you already have. And then when you decide you want to make a change, you are informed about that decision. And that is what we really hope to do with this channel. Am I trying to sell pickups? Yes, we'll get to that in a minute. But more so, I just want you to get the most out of the hobby that you are already a part of. And don't worry about spending money. Learn how the system works. But when you ask me, What do you like? I'm going to tell you what I like. And if I don't like something cheap, I don't like something cheap. End of story. That's all it is. Let's see. There was another comment here. There was a lot of people saying, you know, you're just, there's a few people that were like, this whole video is a ploy, or like you're trying to justify how much your pickups cost. That couldn't, number one, what justifies how much my pickups cost is how much the parts cost and how long it takes me to make them. Okay. The product cost is reflective of time and materials, and what the market will bear when it comes to what pickups cost these days. And honestly, they should be more expensive, but the market won't bear it. So this is what they cost. How we add value to that is having these conversations, right? So I don't need to justify how good my pickups are. They're fantastic. I like them. So let's put these two things together. First of all, I told you what I like in that video. I hope you like what I like. If you don't like what I like, that's okay. You can go buy somebody else's pickups who does something that more closely aligns with what you like. That is wonderful. I would not want you to buy something you don't like. So if you listened to that video yesterday and you said, actually, I don't like that. There was somebody in the comments who said, I actually like that warm, dark sound of those stock pickups in the clean tone. Good. Okay, cool. Then that means my pickups probably are not for you. I'm not trying to sell you something. I'm trying to help you make a decision. So I might say, if you like that darker tone, might I recommend Porter pickups, for example? They have a little darkness on the top end that I'm not a fan of, but you might like. Go try Porter pickups. Doesn't hurt my feelings at all. Which is really kind of fun to be able to do. We got a super chat here. Don't listen to the haters. Thank you for your knowledge. Thanks, Alexander. I appreciate that very much. This is not at all about that. I don't care. To be honest with you, I don't care what people think. I don't care what people think of my videos. I don't care if they agree with me. I don't care. I like what I like, and I'm sharing that with you. And so I don't care really. I'm pretty impervious to that. What I want to do, the reason we're talking all these things through is because I think it's important. Well, let's just say this. I'm just going to say it. Okay. I am more passionate about creating an environment where guitar players can enjoy the hobby without the pressures and I hope that when you watch one of my videos or watch my content or we have these chats, that you don't go away thinking, oh, I really need to go buy something new now. I don't like what I have anymore. I'm now discontent that I learned that thing. When you, yeah, okay. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. This is a bit of projecting. I don't like it when it happens to me. Okay. When I watch a YouTube video about cameras and then all of a sudden I'm discontent with the camera that I have and I have to go rethink for a moment. Okay, no, actually the Canon R6 is a fine camera and there's no reason to upgrade to the Mark II, and I have to talk myself out of upgrading, right? So I've always felt in the field that we're in, it's a little bit different than cameras because the progress is a lot slower, that I would focus on When somebody walks away from one of my videos, they don't go, I am now discontent with what I have. I'm glad I learned that. Now I'm going to go pick up my guitar and try the thing I just learned and play with the knobs a little more and see if my guitar does the things that were talked about in the video. Like that's the parts, that's what I want people to take from this. And so, we sell lots of pickups. Okay. I'm not telling you don't buy pickups. I'm telling you, please buy them. But if you cannot afford them, don't want them because you don't like them, think they're too expensive, think I'm overpriced, think I'm overhyped, any of those sorts of things, it doesn't bother me at all. I don't care. I am not bothered by that at all. Because we sell plenty. Okay. There's like 20 over here that I have to ship tomorrow, and we have to make probably 20 more tomorrow. We are very busy. So the pickups sell themselves. They're very good. I am very proud of them. And the things we make are very good. That's not even, I'm not hyping a product in videos. Even with reviews, even with like the Tonex pedal or anything. Yeah, okay, if you buy one, I get some affiliate dollars for it. But to tell you the honest truth, not enough to pay any bills. So don't stress about it. Like, I don't want you to feel ever like when you watch our content that you're trying to be talked into buying something or something like that. Just, it's not that. It's not how we roll. I want you to walk away from the video and go, I'm going to go try my guitar really quick. And I want to see if what he said was right. If I turn down to 10 or 7, does it do it? No, it doesn't. Okay, well, if I adjust my amp a little bit, can I get the sound that I want? Do I even care? I already like the guitar. It's totally fine. Those are things that I want you to say. Not, oh, now I have to go buy this other thing, you know? And I hope you do. I mean, obviously, you know, we want to sell pickups, but, you know, so there's a balance to that. But the goal is not to do that. And I guess being transparent with you and hanging out and talking about these things is important because I care about the community, probably to a fault. If I was not so idealistic about how I feel about things, I probably could make a lot more money. But I don't care about that. I want to do this right. When we make videos and we share things and we hang out with people. So it's not about haters. It's about creating an environment where people can hang out and talk, and we talk about guitar stuff. I think that is, do you think you would sell the same amount of pickups without the channel? No. Absolutely not. No, I wouldn't sell anything without the channel. So in that respect, I need it. Yes. So you could say, okay, yeah, well, I'm trying to sell pickups with every video. And that is true. But it's more about, it's more brand awareness than it is selling a product. See, you could do things, and this gets into marketing kind of 101 in 2023, but you could be a hard sell guy. I could get on here every day and be like, hey, we have this new product. You should come to Dylan Talks Tone and buy this product, and here's why you should buy it. We don't do that. I would go out of business if I did that. What we do is we share knowledge for free. Hopefully you enjoy the community and you want to support the community. And the way you support community is join Patreon, buy pickups, or use the links in the description. That's it. So I care more about the community, and the community supports the business. It's not about selling stuff. And I think that's really important because I care about you even if you don't buy anything. If I did it the other way, where it was like, well, you're not buying anything from me, so I don't care about you. That doesn't make sense. That makes me a jerk. So that's why we do this. That's why we hang out together every week, because I care about you, even if you don't buy anything. I mean, there's been many times where I have been in a Guitar Center all across the country. It doesn't matter. I've been in a guitar store and somebody walks up to me. It just happened to me at the airport 2 weeks ago. A guy walks up to me out of the blue and says, "Man, I love your channel." And I was like, "Thanks." And I know he's never bought anything from me before, but we stood there and we talked and we chatted for a few minutes, and it was just really cool to meet that person, and I care about that person. He's never bought anything. It's fine. I don't care. If he's watched every video, I've maybe made $3-4 on him, off of him, from him watching my videos his entire life. It's not about that. It's about community and hanging out. Yeah, super cool. Let's see. Let's cruise back through some of these questions if there's any questions in here. Gary, your guitar is going to ship in the morning. I just need to get some bubble wrap. By the way, what's this reality voodoo that you're talking about? Hey, man, I'm going to say it like it is. If you don't like it, you can go watch somebody else. I don't care. What are your thoughts on nitrocellulose lacquer? Do you think it's still a good finish option today with even all the drawbacks? Daniel, here's the way I feel about it. I'm not going to make a purchase decision on a guitar based on the type of finish that it has. I'm going to pick the guitar up and be like, "Oh, this feels nice. I like this. I like how it looks." And then I'm going to buy it based on that and how it sounds and plays and stuff. That being said, I think there are certain guitar purchases that we've come to expect to be nitrocellulose lacquer, like a proper Gibson, like a custom shop Fender, like that. So yes, I think it has a place for sure. I don't care. I'm not going to be like, well, I'm not going to buy that one because it doesn't have, and I'm not like a tune freak about that stuff. But do I want my Les Paul to have nitrocellulose lacquer because it's $3,000? Yeah, I kind of do, because that's how they came and that's kind of how they are and what they're supposed to be. So I kind of want that. You know what I mean? I don't care that, like if they switched from nitrocellulose lacquer on a PRS Silver Sky neck to urethane, I would actually prefer that. Stuff like that. So I don't really care. I care more about performance of the instrument than I do about what it's made of. So if it works, it works, and it's good, then it's good. Except for a couple of traditional things that I care about, like a custom shop Fender or a Les Paul or, something like that. I think it's neat. Just because it's cool, though. It's not, I don't care about it. I just think it's cool. I don't care about it for any technical reason, and I think that there is zero tonal difference or anything, because modern finishes have caught up and surpassed nitrocellulose lacquer when it comes to the technical reasons for why you would use a finish. In the old days, maybe not. In the mid 80s, when the EPA was really cracking down on VOC content of sprayables, then it was a thing, and paint was thick and there was problems, and that was when paint was flying off of cars and when Strats had really thick paint, and we had white Chevys with paint flaking off and all that kind of stuff. But we're not there anymore, and modern guitars and modern finishes are very thin and they're very good and everything is fine, and we don't need to worry about any of that stuff anymore. Let's see. A good question, though. I'm just going down through some of these. just to see if there's, can you use a 500K pots in a Jazzmaster circuit, or the 1 meg's crucial? I like 500s in a Jazzmaster circuit because the pickups are so bright. That being said, if you use the upper switches, I would stick with the 1 meg. I have GFS and Wilkinsons that I don't like that much. Yeah, I won't ever buy any GFS stuff. That being said, there's a few brands that I just totally avoid because I just don't like them. I don't like anything they do. You know, I'm the guy that ordered the loaded pickguard with classic 5s and special zebra DAF with other special requests. Was that order okay? I'm gonna probably have to send you an email on that. We'll get you taken care of, but it's gonna be a minute. Yes. You know, the other thing you got to think about too is there's a couple things that I think are very interesting. Let's see. Sorry, I'm still trying to get down to the bottom here, but I'm never going to catch up. So if you have a question, make sure you put a bunch of question marks in between it. What was I about to say? Oh, one of the things I think about too is, why are you cheaping out? I understand economics, like our personal economics are all different. But when you think about it, a GFS humbucker, how much does a GFS humbucker cost? Let's look right now. GFS humbucker. I'm about to make a point here. All right. So Mojo Tone pickups are about $250, which Stumax are about $80. GFS humbucker. Let's go to just a regular old humbucker. And we're going to use that as, here we go, humbucker. Chrome humbucker sized pickups. Ooh. $30. Holy smokes. $40. Okay. All right. So let's take, for instance, so you've got $80 there. Our pickups are right now approximately $139. So they're a lot more. Times 2. And then let's put the Patreon discount on there. So instead of spending $80, you're spending $250, which is significantly more. It's 3 times as much. With the Patreon discount, it'd be $250. Is that worth it? It depends. How important is your hobby to you? How are you trying to get the cheapest thing so that you can say you got a deal? Or is your hobby important to you? When I want to buy an expensive knife and I can't afford it, you know what I do? I put it off until I can. And I save up and I buy it when I can. Will that take a little bit longer for somebody? Yeah. It's called patience. so many of these people who are like, well, I have $15 pickups and they're amazing. Well, I have $30 pickups and they're amazing. The reason they're saying it is because they're trying to justify to themselves why they didn't spend the money to get the good one. Not because they wouldn't rather have it. This comes down to the whole Les Paul versus Epiphone thing that I put on the internet about a month ago. If I gave you the choice and you could not sell it, you had to keep it, of an Epiphone Les Paul or a Gibson Les Paul, which one would you choose? You have to keep it and play it. You would choose the Gibson. And if you say Epiphone, you are lying. It was 91.8% people or something said that they would play the Gibson guitar, and the other 10% were like, or 9% or whatever, were like, if I saw, I'd sell it and buy 5 Epiphones. So I should have been a little bit more specific. But if you had to keep it, what I'm saying is, if I give you a GFS humbucker and I gave you one of mine and I gave you the choice, you would use one of mine, or a Mojo, or let's take me out of it. You would use a Seymour Duncan Antiquity. You would use Lawler. You would use Tim McNally. You would use whoever, DiMarzio, whatever. Any good pickup from a reputable pickup company who makes really good stuff, handmade stuff. You would pick that stuff over a GFS pickup if you were given the choice. You are given the choice. Do you have the patience? That's what I'm talking about reality sometimes people can't handle. Are you settling for your hobby that you profess to enjoy? I mean, come on, man. Think about it. I mean, I could go into Pilot right now and buy like every knife in the friggin' gas station guitar carousel thing for the cost of, I don't know, half of this knife. And I'd have 35 cheap knives that didn't hold edges, but they would look cool on Instagram unless somebody who knew what they were talking about looked and knew. It's dumb. It's dumb. Have some patience. Save up some stuff. Like, if you really enjoy this hobby, and it is just a hobby and these are just toys. This is just toys. And you're not in them. This is not your life. This is not a helicopter. You're not going to die if you have to wait an extra 2 months to get something actually good. Like, this isn't, you're not running out of gas on the side of the road. You're not like starving to death. This is a toy that you do not need. So, do you have the patience to get the thing you actually want? And if it's not from me, then that's fine. Get it from somewhere else. I'm just saying, all you GFS people and Harley Benton people and everybody, unless you're the kind of person. So here's the thing, though. I threw a Harley Benton in there just because I could. But I also get the folks that are like, I'm going to buy a cheap guitar and upgrade it because it's fun. That's amazing. And we sell a lot of pickups to folks like you that do that. I totally get it. It's totally awesome. So the guitar thing's in a little different spot, right? But do you have 15 of them when you could have one good guitar? What do you enjoy about this hobby? Do you enjoy tinkering around with the guitar and making it better? Okay. And see, I think that's where the GFS pickup comes in and all these little cheap R-Tech pickups and stuff. I think that's where that comes in, is it's not about how good they are. It's about how cheap they are so you can learn a thing. It's like, they're like trainer pickups. They're like, I want to learn how to rewire my guitar. So I'm going to buy a Harley Benton and I'm going to buy some GFS pickups and I'm going to learn how to do this. And I think that's amazing. And if you want to do that, I encourage you to do that with that cheap stuff. I encourage you to, because then you're not investing a lot. I've always said, go get a guitar on Craigslist. Don't even worry about the condition. Just get it as cheap as you can and then use that. And if the frets are screwed up and the action's not right and it needs a new nut, then that's the guitar that you use to learn those things. So go get a cheap guitar and do that to learn those things as part of the hobby. But if you are a person who says, I want a Les Paul for $500 that's just as good as, it won't be. Don't be a just as good as guy. That's probably the bomb for the day, actually. Don't be a just as good as guy. Don't. You can order China pickups in bulk and relabel them and sell them for $40, or you can do something like order from me. Right. Yeah, no, I agree. Hey D, any appetite or interest in doing a wiring show on the Fender Dual 250 500? Ever used them? We've done a video on them in the past. They're kind of limited in, I'll tell you what I don't like about them. The taper sucks. So if you can get away without using them, get away without using them. Because the taper kind of sucks and they don't really work very well, in my opinion. Nice knife. Oh, I'll show you in a minute. Let's see. I'm not sure about the wiring harnesses from GFS. I don't know how reliable they are. I know the Mojotone ones are pretty decent. Ooh, we got a thumbs down. Somebody plays Harley Benton or uses GFS pickups. Or buy a kit guitar. Yeah, exactly. Right? Or go to, you know what you really need to do? Save up your money and go to a Texas Toast class. That's really what you need to do. Save the money up. If it takes you a year to save it up, do it. Or join their Patreon thing. Or they have a firm too. That's the other thing. We have Shopify Pay thing. So like 90 days or whatever to pay your pickups off. We have that. Like you can order it right now. Like you go to order, people do it all the time. Like 5 or 6 people a month order pickups and they like split it out over 90 days because they, for a loaded pick guard with all the stuff is, pushing $400. So they'll split that up over 90 days or whatever. Do it. I don't think it costs anything. It costs me when you use that, but I'd rather you have the stuff. Actually, they take a higher cut out of my profit, but I don't care. Because again, this is the same thing. I don't care because I would rather you have the stuff. That's, when you really think about it. Go to a pawn shop and trade in some old crappy golf clubs. That's, that's the thing, man. That is the thing. That is the thing. If you want something, you will have it. If you want something, you will have it. And if it takes a while, I want a Porsche 911. I'll just tell you. You probably have figured that out by now, but that's on my list. I want a Porsche 911. And I will have one. If it takes me another 5 years to get one, that's okay. I'll have one. I've gotten everything I've ever wanted. Pretty much. Material things. Because I don't care about material things that much. So it's like, just when you get to it, you get to it sort of thing. And so I'm pretty patient about that stuff. But yeah. When you get to it, you get to it. I feel like the thumbs down due to disagreement is the problem with our society. I disagree with Dylan's sentiment to some degree, but this is good conversation. That's why I'm here. Dude, that's the thing, man. I don't care if you disagree with me. I like to learn. And if somebody brings up a good point and it's like, oh yeah, you know what? And I rethink it, then I think it's great. I think it's important. That's why we have these conversations on Tuesday. And I know that these conversations can be a little contentious for some people. I know that there could be some thumbs down Frank people because of it, but I think it's important to have them. And I think it's important. The other thing too is I don't really respond to many YouTube comments anymore. Because this is what I use to respond to YouTube comments, because I want people to hear an articulated response. You cannot reply to a YouTube comment or a Facebook comment and have the meaning of it come out right. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's hard. You can do it, obviously, but it's hard to do it. And I don't have the time to write some kind of big book. So that's why we set an hour aside a week to do this. We hang out. We have a conversation. That's why it's called. I'm just going to say it. We have a conversation about stuff. We get it all out. We all chat about it. And we all learn. And if you get in the comments of this video and you watch it afterwards and you have something to share, maybe I'll share that next week. Because I think it's important to continue having conversations. Yeah, I mean, that's why one of the reasons I don't reply to a lot of YouTube comments anymore. I used to, but it got to just be so crazy. It just doesn't really work. I just bought my Aston Martin DB9. It gets delivered in 4 months. Dude, nice. That's very cool, man. That's very cool. I have never wanted an Aston as much as I've wanted a Porsche. So I've been it's just been kind of on my thing. Have you ever experimented with two P90s wired up to a humbucker? No, I have not. To pay for the website, shipping, supplies, materials, labor, and pay all the fees for making the sales. Most people might be surprised by how little gets to your bank account. Oh my God, you have no idea. We just did our taxes and it is bonkers. And what's crazy is people think that the bigger you get, the more money you make. And it is not true. It is not true. People think that these, Fender and Gibson and stuff, they could do it cheaper because they're a multi-million. The bigger you get, the more expensive it is. I mean, it is no lie. I mean, we did our taxes this year and we realized some things are going to have to change for next year and our expenses are going to go up and our profit is going to go down because we want to do some things differently and more efficiently. You probably won't see any of that. It'll all happen in the background, but it's literally the busier you get, the harder it gets and the more expensive it gets. I just spent $800 on a magnetizing machine because we are so busy that I need that accuracy and that time savings. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like everything we're going through, I cannot tell you how many pounds of wire. We're going through like 10 pounds of wire every 2 weeks. Like it's crazy. The busier you get, the more things you have to think about. Both my kids are working for me now. So now we have that. I mean, it's bonkers. It's so fun. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to everybody who supports us and loves what we do because this is so much fun. I love it, but it is literally like you got to get up earlier and you got to stay up later because you got to get it all done. And it is absolutely so much fun. It's just it's so fun. Yeah, I mean, it's so much fun. Let's see. Is it worth making your own patch cables and ordering the material in bulk? I was looking at Mogami. Look at Runway Audio. They make patch cables, but they also sell some kits, I think. And the stuff is amazing, and it's way better than Mogami. Runwayaudio.com. There's a link to it in the description, and you get a discount if you use Dylan Talks Tone as a disc. It's 10% off if you use that discount code. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not a Mogami fan at all. The 2319 stuff is like 29 picofarads, 39 picofarads per foot. The 2546, I believe it is, which is their expensive stuff, is 29 picofarads per foot. And this other stuff that we're talking about from Runway Audio is 19 or 20. So it's a lot more clarity. The stuff is lifetime warranty. It's fantastic stuff. I have their stuff on my pedal board right here. It's really, really good stuff. And I would definitely recommend it over Mogami. The thing about Mogami is the reason Mogami is popular is because they have a bigger marketing department, but their stuff's not actually better. And the numbers don't lie. I mean, it's just specs. It's science. You could just tell. Technical question. Are there any drawbacks to making a low noise single coil by trading winds for magnet strength, i.e. half the winds, but use something like an N50 neodymium magnet? Yeah, you could do that. On a guitar, neodymium is hard to use because while a normal Alnico magnet will not pull on the strings if it is properly adjusted, neodymium starts to get a little crazy. And so I have played with it and I don't like it. So I have not actually used it. One of the things that I do to keep our single coils quiet, because our single coils are very quiet. They're not noiseless, but they're very quiet. Even our P90s, any of you who have P90s in the comments, chime in about this. They're not that noisy. One of the things we do is we try to keep the capacitance of the coil low. That does two things. One, it keeps it quieter. Two, it keeps us nice clarity and highs. And that isn't how we wind them. People say that scatter winding is a myth. It's not, in the respect that it keeps the capacitance low. But it is a myth in the sense that it's not something that you do. It's just something that happens. Every hand wound pickup is scatter wound. And actually a lot of machine wound pickups are scatter wound as well. It's just that when you do it by hand, it's different and more. And so we do things a certain way to keep, and it does keep the noise low. It keeps it a lot lower. So, yeah. Do you think Runway could custom build a stereo cable for my 60-foot? Yes, I do. I do believe they can. If you shoot them an email, I'm sure Austin will help you. If you tell him that I told you, I'm almost positive he will build it for you. They do lots of crazy stuff like that. Yes. Yeah, they have all kinds of crazy stuff. Oh, Rob, look at Precision guitar kits out of Canada. Yeah, this stuff's pretty good, actually. And check out StewMax kits. The stuff that Matt has, there's a link to that in the description. It would help me out. The StewMax kits are actually pretty good. The stuff that Matt's been doing, he's been telling me about it. Like I actually got to see it in person while I was out there, and then him and I've been talking about it. That stuff's really good. So check out the StewMax kits also. Yeah, and it's going to be the same thing. The hardware is going to be kind of suspect, but the wood side of everything has seemed to be very good so far. So, yeah. somebody asked me about my knife. I got a new one. This is the, come on, you can do it. There it goes. This is a Half Face Blades Crow Junior. On the other side of the blade, you can see it's half of a Indian face right there. It's S35VN, G10 scales. This is one of those knives that they do weekly drops, and they are handmade in San Diego, California by an ex-Navy SEAL, and they sell out in minutes. And I just so happened to get my hands on one. This has been a knife that it's been on my, this is to me, and I know there's better stuff, but there probably is very few that are better. For me, this is like the Chris Reeves Sebenza of fixed blades. For me, this is something that I've been wanting for quite a while. It's funny too. You would think that the handle would be like super rough, but it actually feels really, really good. And so since I got my Winkler, so this is a Winkler SD1. Since I got my Winkler, this is, the Half Face Blades was also on my list. I got 2 of them. So anyway, there you go. Yeah, no, it's killer. This thing is, and what's crazy is I carry it. I have the pocket sheath for it, and it looks huge. It's 9 inches long, but I actually been carrying it, and it's been fine. It's a little big, not gonna lie, but it's actually about the same size as my Sebenza when it's open, but of course the Sebenza is half the size when it's closed. So yeah. Anyway, so that's the new one. It's Cerakoted, and this thing is absolutely freaking killer. I cannot tell you how much I love it. It's heavy for sure. I got a Bradford Guardian 4. Ooh, cool. Yeah, a Guardian 3 has actually been a knife that I've been thinking about buying too. But I was going to get a Bradford Guardian 3, but then I got this Winkler, and this Winkler is almost about the same size as a Guardian 3. And so I kind of, I'll probably still get one at some point, but this dude right here, I carry this a lot too, because it's actually small enough. It's got a little pocket clip. This is actually more carryable than this other one, but I don't know. This is the new hotness, so it's pretty cool. To the theme, removing pickup cover brightens the sound. My conclusion, if doing so, 2 steps, you screw the pull pieces on the same height as the slugs are. I think that's the reason, right? No, pickup covers introduce what is called eddy currents, which is a weird way of saying it screws around with the magnetic field, but not in the way that you would think. It actually messes with the inductance in the coil. It doesn't mess with the magnetic field. I guess that's more accurate to say. But not as much as you would think. We have a video. Oh, that was the other thing. People said I did the test wrong because I used, ceramic pickups versus Alnico pickups, and I used covered pickups versus not covered pickups, which is a bunch of BS. And I'll tell you why in a minute, but let me answer your question first. Eddy currents are when any flat surface is perpendicular to a magnetic field, which would be the top of the pickup cover, and the magnetic field is going this way because of the poles. And what happens is that flat surface has these little swirls in it called eddy currents that screw with the inductance that's happening in the pickup. And you break that up. There's a couple of different ways you break that up. And one of the ways we do it is, I don't want to say, but basically we do some stuff underneath the cover to break those eddy currents up. So we have a thing that we do. And then getting back to this other thing, sometimes when you're trying to illustrate a point on the internets, because we're dealing with so many, here, let's get this super chat first. Super chat from Roth. He says, over the years, To get better, I eventually would only allow myself to upgrade with the money I got paid from doing the hobby. Yeah, photo, coffee. Yeah, so you like flip stuff and make money with the stuff, and yeah, that makes total sense. Thank you for the super chat. So one of the things that happens when you're making these videos, right? You can get super scientific with stuff, but that's not the point. Somebody asked me what I like. And so to demonstrate that, especially to people that do not have ears, the people are asking because they can't hear. They're like, I can't tell the difference. So what are you listening for? I'm new to this. What do you listen for? So what I did with that was I took pickups that were, and I used a lot of gain with the JCM 800. People are like, there's too much gain to be able to tell anything. Well, no, there wasn't. It really illustrated it very well, Mr. Glenn Fricker, number one. And number two, I love him. He's awesome. Don't worry about it. I'm just saying it to make a joke. I did it over YouTube and people using their phones and laptops and tablets and all kinds of different ways to watch this stuff. You're not listening to it. We talked about this last week. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. Your ear is not good enough. And your computer speakers and your headphones and your earbuds and all that stuff, none of that stuff is good enough to be scientific about this anyway. So that's not the point. The point is to create a situation where people with all kinds of different backgrounds can understand the concept of what we are trying to convey. So you create an environment where you have these very muddy pickups on one extreme and you have these other pickups on the other extreme so that you can show the difference between something you do like and something you don't like. They don't have to be the exact same thing. This is not an A/B test. A/B tests are stupid for that reason. This is not an A/B test. This is a trying to demonstrate and what you like versus what you don't like, and trying to put it into a context where people with less experience can understand it, which means you have to exaggerate the points to be able to convey that properly. So I don't care what you think about the video, to tell you the truth. But for the folks that had a real hard time with that, that's why you do it. Now, if we A/B something like cover versus no cover, or Alnico 2 versus 5 versus 8, then we try to control as many factors as possible. But you're still not good enough. Your speakers aren't good enough. Your earbuds aren't good enough. You're not good enough to hear that stuff in this environment over YouTube anyway. So that's why we don't do a lot of those videos, because it just elicits more of the same type of comments where people are just like, well, you didn't do it right. It's not, blah, 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 not scientific. Well, it's not scientific. It's freaking YouTube. I'm not a scientist. I mean, I know my stuff, but this is not a lab. This is a spare room in an apartment. So that's why you really have to back off of that stuff and just be like, okay, let me just try to illustrate the point the best I can for the folks that ask the question. And that's what you do. So I just want to mention that as well. Let's see. All right. So we are about an hour and I have to be somewhere a little early tonight. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for everybody who shared a super chat. I appreciate y'all. And we are going to see you tomorrow. How can I get that dopamine hit from buying the thing I saw in the video, but was watching from the couch instead of actually playing my guitar? Yeah. Why are you not playing your guitar? Go play your guitar right now after you check out all the links in the description. We'll see y'all tomorrow.